There's so many things that you can do that you can rewrite how you're going to come into the new year, because this is what this is all about. Coming into the new year, surviving the holidays, having your kids be healthy and okay, and learning how to do this time and time again. And you don't have to overhaul everything this year, but each year you can start to chip away a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and you can see how these things work. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Jacque Show. This is one that I wanted to get out before Halloween because I think it's one of these topics that most of us struggle with, especially as parents, and we're trying to make sure that we make it through the holidays. So this one's going to be entitled Surviving the Holidays. So the how-tos. What do we do for my family? What have I learned from working with my patients? What can you do to best prep and prepare yourself for the holidays? That's what this whole episode is going to be dedicated to. So thank you again for tuning in here. Hopefully you find this useful. We've got Thanksgiving coming up. We've got Christmas coming up here as well, and New Year's. And so I'm going to give you some guidelines that we use that I recommend to make this year the best chance possible to not get sick. And if you do, kick it out very quickly and move on from that. So what are some of my holiday essentials? Okay, so holiday essentials, and basically just going to give you a bunch of supplements that I would recommend having on hand for you. So what do you do? I mean, if you're going to be flying, if you're going to be traveling, how do we do that? So there's these packs that we have, and you can get them on the online store. All of these ones I'm going to be talking about, you can get through the online store. You can do the twice daily multi-packs. Whether you're a guy or a girl, you can do these things. If you're a kid, there's a thing called VitaVessence that you can find, which is like a kid's multivitamin that can be really beneficial for your kid, which is kind of important. Next thing is going to be a strong vitamin C. And so a product that I really like that we sell is going to be called Stellar C. You can do 6 pills a day, so space it 2, 2, and 2. With vitamin C, if you figure you're taking too much, the sign you're going to get is you're going to have some diarrhea associated with that. So it may seem like a lot at first, but when you really bring in that vitamin C, stress is going to burn through your vitamin C very quickly. It's going to make it very difficult on you. So vitamin C is going to be a massive nutrient that is going to be depleted through the holidays. Boost it up. It's a master antioxidant. It will help you survive the holidays. Another one is going to be the obvious D, vitamin D. So D Eval 10K or Ultra D 10K, getting about 10,000 IUs of vitamin D with that K2 in there is going to help to boost your immunity throughout this holiday season too. Now, doing one of those or two of those a day, getting up to 20,000 IUs, you can do that. And for children, we have the little vitamin D3 that you can do in like a little flavored droplet that helps them boost up their vitamin D as well. Serving size is about 1,000 IUs. You can go up to about 5,000 for your kids, just depending on how their immune system is. But maintenance-wise, just doing one dropper, that should be sufficient for them to also help with their immunity, with their immune system. If you're coming down with something, or if you're flying, I always recommend a colloidal silver supplement. Stuff kills like everything. So if you get an oral spray, you can get it on the online store. We use another brand called Results RNA as well. The one that's in the store is going to be Designs for Health. You can use that, spray yourself down, spray your kids down. Try again, traveling on airplanes, etc. Wash your hands, keep yourself nice and clean. I'm not going to tell you to wear a mask because that's going to do the opposite. It'll actually make you sicker. So don't do any of that BS, but take care of your body and give your body what it needs. Those are just some of the holiday essentials. Now, something that's also really important to understand, one of the hardest things for parents to understand, even myself included, again, I'm doing this podcast a day after my son broke 101 fever. So kids get sick. He processed through it in a day. He felt crappy yesterday, day before. He was helping us hang all the Christmas decorations around the house. He was climbing on ladders. He was outside till 8 o'clock at night with his shirt off, running around like a maniac, just all the energy in the world. Woke up at 4 a.m. was like, my stomach hurts. I don't feel good. Rested all day, rested at night. I ended up sleeping with him last night. Boom, woke up this morning, completely changed person, feeling totally fine. Something that's very important to note, don't mess with the fever. Don't mess with the fever. It is miserable. It is uncomfortable for adults as well as for children. The more you mess and alter the fever, the longer your duration of sickness is going to be. Okay. Remember that. And parents that are out there, if you've got kids that are pushing 101, 102, 103, let them rest. Don't shove them into school because you have a busy schedule. That's bullshit. And to me, that's child malpractice. You should be able to take care of your kids. You should be able to take some time off. And if your employer is not going to allow you to do that, then they're a pretty crappy employer. So give your child the space to rest. Don't continuously force their bodies against their will to keep fighting through it. The other thing with fevers is we've all heard, oh my God, fever is going to cause brain damage. New research is coming out that our brains can actually go up to, not our brains, but our bodies can push a fever up to 108 degrees without causing any brain damage. And bacteria and viruses, things like that, don't typically get you there. They can get you like 103, 104, which is totally fine, 105, which I haven't seen to date. But, it can push up to that level. But that natural response is your body trying to kill that virus or kill that bacteria, whatever it is that's killing that's overcoming the body. The other thing with this is don't take antibiotics. Don't take these antivirals that are all over the place. Don't take the acetaminophen. Don't take the fever reducers. You will drag out the infection, and there is a correlation between those NSAIDs and acetaminophen and causing kids to go on the spectrum dealing with autism. So don't run that risk. Allow your body to sweat out that fever, make them break, get them outside for some fresh air, let them walk around and stuff. Just take care of them, just nourish them, make sure they're eating little bits of food here and there as time is going on. So I just wanted to make sure I threw that disclaimer out there, as these things are normal for, again, adults as well as kids. Now, if you do a good job of taking care of your immune system, it's not to say that you're not going to get sick. It's just going to say that if you do and you come across a new virus, bacteria, disease, etc., your body has to go through the kill off of it. It has to experience it. It has to kill it. And that kill off is what makes us feel like shit. And then the next day we recover. We feel like we're hungover and we recover. Kids, same way. So when you do these things and you dose these supplements, these multivitamins, the vitamin D, the vitamin C's, these things can help aid in the recovery for whatever it is without causing any issues with the fever. Another thing that's really nice is if you have somebody who can adjust, whether it's myself, I have adjusted my whole family. Again, it works with the natural immunity. Bring your kid into a chiropractor, get them adjusted, allow their atlas to be freed up. It'll help them recover. Sometimes it will help them sleep, and everything will work very copacetically. All right, but now let's get into the nitty gritties. We got the supplements aside, we got the disclaimers aside, we got the whole, it's not going to be guaranteed to stop you from getting sick. It's going to help you overcome it as quickly as possible. But what else can we do? What else can we look at in terms of a diet that we can do to kind of starve off or make sure that we don't get any diagnosis of sickness or an illness? Okay, what can we do? What can we add in to one of the most depleted nutrients, if you will, in the body? It's not the magnesium. Yes, magnesium is massively depleted, but I'm talking about a whole food source. We need to start increasing our fiber intake. Okay. Now, fiber is not just your grandpa's fiber vitamins or Metamucil. This is healthy fiber. This is from whole foods, increasing fiber, trying to get about 35 grams of fiber a day. Number one, it helps with gut motility. So it helps to move out any toxic things that you have in the body. It also helps to serve as a prebiotic. A lot of fibers can actually feed your good bacteria, and then their bacteria where 80% of your immune system resides is going to take care of you. It's going to make sure your immune system is nice and strong. It's going to make sure if you do come down with something, you kick it out very quickly. It's very beneficial for you. The other thing is it helps to bind up any excess estrogens that you might have. So say you do have that extra bit of alcohol. Alcohol causes an excess conversion between testosterone and estrogen. So you're going to become more estrogen dominant. If we try to detox that out, that fiber is going to help to bind out that excess estrogen and get it out of the body before it causes any harm. Now, it's not to say use fiber as a resource to be able to drink a few extra. But again, this is things that you can do to try to help your body respond as healthy as possible through the craziness of the holidays. So number one, fiber. Make sure you get your fiber in. Number two, increase your water intake. We're going to different people's houses. We're going through the airport. We're going in the car, and we don't want to drink too much water because we don't want to have too many pit stops, right? Make sure that your water is up. I know it's colder in most areas, and even in Arizona, it's colder, and we forget to drink water. So we want to have at least half our body weight in ounces a day. So half our body weight in ounces a day. All right. That way you're getting enough water in, you're feeling good, you're feeling hydrated, you're not going to be dehydrated, which would then cause inflammation in the body, which is then a breeding ground for any type of viruses, bacteria, etc. Okay. What else? Exercise. Okay. That's just getting outside for a 30-minute walk or doing yoga inside, or you be the family health nut that comes over and leads the workouts, or you put a video on YouTube, or you get a gym membership, a week pass, wherever you're going. Not only is it good to keep your body moving, but that moving is going to separate you from your family that might be stressing you out. So it's a little secret to get some time away for yourself. Go get a gym membership. Your family might think you're crazy, but you need to set boundaries on what their feelings do to you anyways. Right? It's the holidays. They're going to throw a lot of unsolicited advice, parenting advice, screw up advice that you are doing. It's going to be stressful. And as you're listening to this podcast, you might be like, son of a bitch, it's already happening now. It's already been happening this whole year. It tends to climax at the end of the year, so we have to make sure we process through it. But when we exercise, what does it do? Exercise increases our internal core temperature, right? So what does that mimic? It's going to mimic a fever. So just in case you have something that is going on in your body, you're going to increase your core temp. That core temp is going to cause your body to kill off any bacteria that you may have just stumbled across, okay? The other thing is, if you're going to the gym, see if they have a sauna. Go in a steam sauna, go in an infrared sauna, go in a dry sauna, sweat that stuff off. Because again, increasing core temperature is going to help to kill off any type of viruses or anything that's going to be trying to come and attack your body. Not only that, but you detox a little bit. So if you drink heavily the night before, go into the sauna, make sure you drink plenty of water, but then you detox some of that stuff out so that those toxins don't just stay in the body, they don't just stay in the liver. You can process through them a lot better. But really, the exercise is a vital key to make sure that you're still moving and enjoying your life while you're with your family. Moving on from there, a lot of people will do this, whether it's with flying or they wake up in the morning and they know that they're eating a large meal, and you'll intermittent fast, which is great. Not a bad thing to do. Wake up in the morning, you can have like a bulletproof coffee if you want to, which is, again, coffee with some MCT oil or some butter, whatever you want to toss in there. And that's going to give you some nutrients to tide you over until your lunchtime meal, right? Which will also stop you from picking, which is going to be another thing. Stop picking and grazing throughout the day. Eat your meals. When you intermittent fast, it's important to have something, especially as a woman, in the morning. It could be the bulletproof coffee. It could be branched chain amino acids and essential amino acids in a little powder or some pills. What that's going to do is allow your body to have some sort of nutrient base for the women that isn't going to cause your body to stress out and freak out like you're starving it. Okay? Intermittent fasting is not always enjoyable for women for that reason. So having that little kind of coffee-ish meal in the morning, make sure it's good quality, get some good quality MCTs in there, and it's going to help you throughout the day. Okay. And then the intermittent fasting doesn't mean you just pound your face with food later on in the day. You eat your meals, eat lunch. Prioritize your meals. Focus on your veggies, focus on your proteins. Fill up on those things before you switch over into your main carbs, whether it's bread or pasta or rolls or whatever it is that you serve on Thanksgiving. Try to make sure you fill up on the good stuff first before you fill up on the bad. Don't do it in reverse. Don't have dessert for your entree. Not a good start. Not a good example to set for your kids either. Okay? Moving past that, what can we do? Add in more greens. Now, most people will do like the canned green beans, and they'll throw a whole bunch of milk in there and dairy and cheese and those little fried onions. I forget what it's called. The green bean casserole. We'll make that dish. And you can make that dish actually be healthy. My wife does, and it's really delicious. But you're getting your green beans in there. So again, another way to sneak in some healthy greens. It's going to help with the detoxification. It's going to help with the good bacteria in the gut. It's going to help to kind of cleanse everything through and give you some fiber to move along so that you don't get constipated through the holidays. We don't have that giant Santa belly to leave the holidays. Okay. Next. So we talked about the exercise piece, going to get a gym membership. Other things that you can do is, depending on where you live, they'll have these little turkey trots. So you'll have a little 5K, or you'll have a 5K for Christmas, or like you'll run with Santa Claus or whatever it is. If you do that, at least you're starting your body in the morning with movement, which is then going to need, you're going to drop your calories, okay, that you're actually consumed. So you're going to be in a caloric deficit compared to what your nutrients are. So you're going to start the day off in a deficit, which means you're going to have more room for calories to bring in towards the end of the day. Okay. Versus if you just ate your face off all day long. Okay. Also, make sure you drink water with your meals. So that way you allow it to fill you up. Don't just jam, and then drink water, because then it's going to just expand in your belly. Boy, you're going to feel terrible doing that. Okay. Now, what else is very important and what else is often destroyed? Okay. Especially for kids, sleep. Make sure you're getting sleep. Now, some of us, when we go and we visit our family, we stay in our family's home. That's usually if the family is more kind, less abusive, mentally and physically, socially and spiritually. I don't suggest most people stay with their family for the holidays. Find a hotel or an Airbnb that you can stay in that's close to them, but it gives you your separate quarters. This allows you, especially if you have kids, to go home and put your kids down where there's no noise, no yelling, no screaming, no chaos that is taking place. All right. What that's going to do is it's going to preserve your child's immune system. It's going to separate you from the chaos, and you're going to be able to bail out at any time. Use your kids as an excuse if you need to get out. Like, hey, so-and-so's not feeling well. We're gonna peace out right now. Or just say they have freaking COVID. Oh, kids got COVID. Sorry, we can't make it for the holidays. Just kidding. But honestly, sleep is going to be key. If we don't sleep, right, we already have time zone traveling. We're bouncing from different time zones. But if we don't sleep, it's going to cause our bodies to have an increased amount of cortisol that's going to be released. It's going to release more insulin. So we're going to have more insulin resistance during the next day. We're going to crave more carbs because our blood sugar is going to be more chaotic. And as you're going to see as we go forward, the more sugars and things that you're taking in, the weaker your immune system is going to be. Okay, so somebody can cough 5 houses down, you get that illness. Okay, so make sure that your body is healthy before you jump into that. All right, watch out for what I call the estrogen surges. Okay, for number of reasons. So we've got sugar, alcohol, and stress. Okay. The estrogen surges can, one, it's unhealthy. It's going to cause us to bloat. It's going to cause us to be uncomfortable. But an increase in estrogen for both men and women tend to make us more emotional, which leads to more arguments, more stress, lack of sleep, and creation of more candida. Because most of us are going to the holidays. If we don't have our gut under control, we've probably got some candida cultures that are down there just waiting to grow. You're going to feed them. You're going to be more emotional, more arguments, more feeling like crap, more weight gain that's difficult to get off when you're done with this holiday season. So make sure we try to avoid these things as best we can. Now, for the sugar aspect, there are multiple statistics on this, and people try to get mad at me for this, and I really don't give a shit. When you have anywhere from 75 to 100 grams of sugar, it decreases your immune system by 50% for up to 5 hours. Okay, so 50 to 75 grams of sugar really isn't that much. And you're going to get that in like a can of pop or one of your, this tells I don't drink very often, where you put the champagne in the orange juice, like that thing, you're going to get sugars from the orange juice. Those mimosas, that's what I'm going for here. So you're going to get some sugar intake from that. You're drinking all day long, which is typically going to have some sugars in it. You're going to be craving the bad food. And so what you're doing is constantly down-regulating your immune system over and over and over again. Then you're not sleeping, which decreases your immune system. You're waking up doing the same thing, and you just create this toxic cycle. And then we gain all this weight to close out the year, and only to stack into our New Year's resolution saying, I want to lose weight. Try to monitor what you're doing and what you're drinking. Okay, sugar-wise, make sure that you stop it as best you can, or have your family cook with healthy sweeteners, stevias, monk fruit sweetener. These types of things are highly accessible. Use those instead of your standard sugar, because it's not going to spike your blood glucose as much or as badly as a regular sugar or coconut sugar, etc. Okay, and heaven forbid, stay away from the high fructose corn syrup for you as well as your kids, because that's going to just lead to chaos. It's going to excite the brain so much, it's going to kill brain cells and make people just completely chaotic. Okay, so high fructose corn syrup is going to be your Jacque and Cokes, right? Coca-Cola is going to have high fructose corn syrup. Those mixers are going to have high fructose corn syrup. Find healthy alternatives. What does that look like? You can find a Zevia drink. It's sweetened with stevia. You can find like a cola version of Coca-Cola that doesn't have any of the artificial crap in it. So that way you're not getting the high fructose corn syrup in it, and you're not having as much of a detrimental impact on your overall health. When it comes to alcohol, again, none is best, but if you're like, well, I'm going to have it anyways, what can I have that's healthier? Well, to me, a straight tequila is going to be healthier. Or if you have some way to make like a healthier margarita, that's going to be beneficial. Keep the sugar and all that stuff off the rim. So a margarita or straight tequila, vodka, so a gluten-free vodka is going to be beneficial. Vodka water, there's like no calories associated with that, just obviously the toxic impact on the vodka. You can have gin. Gin typically has a lot of herbal essences in it, so it's a little bit healthier of a beverage. If you're going for beer, try to go for a gluten-free beer or a cider. That's going to typically be more gluten-free, so less inflammatory, less of an impact on the immune system. So there are healthier things you can drink if you're going to find yourself drinking, okay? Now, for me, it sucks. I like bourbon, but bourbon's typically going to have a bunch of gluten in it. So that's your barley, malt, rye whiskey. Corn can also mimic gluten, so that can have an impact on it as well. So again, just knowing some of these things going into it can be very beneficial for you going into the holidays, okay? The other thing with sugar here too, I wanted to bring this up. This was another research study that was done. Eating 100 grams of sugar, patients experience a reduction in the ability for the immune systems to engulf bacteria, right? So basically just paralyzes the immune cells. Just think about what you feel like when you eat a ton of sugar. You just want to sit down in a food coma. You're like, it's basically what you're doing to your immune cells. So it can't kill those bacteria. So you're more inclined to come back with an infection, cough, cold, etc., which is going to throw off your Christmas and New Year's plans if you don't take care of yourself, okay? So again, make sure that you're good to go. Guidance, they suggest getting no more than 24 grams of sugar for a woman and no more than 36 grams of sugar for a man a day to make sure that you keep your immunity in check, okay? So again, look into that. Alcohol, we talked about that. Stress. So stress is where boundaries come into play. And again, like I talked to numerous patients about this. I've talked to friends about it too, where, my parents used to watch Christmas Vacation all the time. I'm like, I don't get this movie. I don't understand it. And then you have kids and then you start meeting the needs of in-laws and family members. And you're like, oh my gosh. And Chevy Chase, like him or hate him, love him or hate him, he hit the nail on the head on what the holidays are like. You're waiting for a bonus to spend money that you don't have. Your kids are fighting over everything. You have in-laws that are coming. You've got somebody with dementia that doesn't even, you won't even hear a dump truck backing up at a nitroglycerin plant. All of these stressors culminate in one event. Again, be that Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's. And so boundaries are going to be key. I already talked about getting a place that you can physically stay. Okay, so get a separate spot to live for the week or for the couple days, a hotel, an apartment, an Airbnb, you name it, whatever it is, do that so that we have a separate place to go to. Also, boundary-wise, make it clear if you don't want your children eating crap food, make sure that's clear. Mom, dad, so-and-so doesn't eat this, that, and the other thing. Don't sacrifice your kid just to make your parents happy. Right? Most grandparents want to redo what they've done when you were a kid. But I'll be honest, my parents are great with this stuff. They're always checking because we don't eat gluten, we don't eat dairy, we don't eat any garbage crap like at all. And they know that, and we don't feed that to our kids. So we have that agreement. If we're coming, we're showing up, my parents will do the best they can to shop for us, or we'll just go and shop for ourselves. We'll bring it over there. So it's really easy, no guesswork at all. And we can all have a nice, happy, healthy time. Plus, our kids are smart enough. Hoyt will walk over and say, is this dairy? Does this have gluten in it? And we could tell him yes or no. And he knows. I'm like, oh, that's going to hurt my belly if I have it. I'm like, good job, bro. Like, you're awesome. So kids are coachable, just so you know, but parents can be too. So don't be afraid to set those boundaries. If they turn into this, oh, poor me, and this narcissistic behavior, just basically say, listen, do you want us to keep coming back and hanging out with you guys, or do you want us to shut this down? Because it's stressful enough just getting here, and then to try to contain our kids and tell us, don't eat that, don't eat that, don't eat that, don't eat that, becomes a little bit ridiculous. Okay? So stand up for yourself and stand up for your family, because that's the right thing to do, in my honest to God opinion. Other things to do here as well is make sure that you're protecting the gut. Okay? Protect the gut. Make sure, again, if we're in a state where we've got like an irritable bowel type condition, or we know we have a weakened immune system, these types of things are going to be very, very, very crucial and key as we're going into the holidays. Okay. You can get on a probiotic. Okay. You can get on a probiotic. You can get on some sort of magnesium supplement as well. The twice daily multis have magnesium in it, but if you're more constipated or prone to constipation, travel with some magnesium citrate. A lot of people like that calm magnesium. I personally don't. We've got one on the store as well. It's just mag citrate powder. You can take that and dose it as needed to keep the bowels moving, because that's another huge thing with the holidays. We eat more, we eat things we're not used to. And what does that do? It bogs down our digestive tract. It damages our detoxification pathways and leads us to being sick. Okay, so please, please, please try to do that. In terms of the good, better, best, or best, better, good, the best is to make sure that you heard all of this and follow it to a T to have the best holiday possible. Get your kids out alive, get you out alive. Again, the disclaimer is this is not going to stop you from getting a cold or something that you're not experienced with. What it can do is help you to process through it faster and give your body the nutrients and things that it needs to overcome it as quickly as possible. Okay. The other thing is, from the better side of things, try to make sure that you avoid sugary foods as best as possible. Techniques for that, again, is doing protein focus, fiber focused, starchy vegetables, so that way you fill up on those things before you get a chance to grab that Christmas cookie. Okay. Stress techniques: going to the gym, getting a half-hour walk to yourself, getting your own place, doing some breath work and just calm meditation. You can do a Wim Hof meditation on YouTube for $3 and free cents. That can really be beneficial. There's another product, I don't remember if I skipped it, but I'll come back to it because I've been giving this to a lot of my patients recently prepping for this. But try to make sure that you're eating things properly. Okay? Stress-free. Don't feel obligated if you're like, oh my gosh, every time I get together, I drink with my family. Every time we get together, this is what happens. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to just jump on that merry-go-round and just continue life as usual. You can show up and be like, listen, I don't do that anymore. Or, I might have one drink and that's it. I just don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I don't like how I feel with it. Okay. If you want to have one blowout night, have one blowout night and recover for the rest of the week or so that you're there. There's so many things that you can do that you can rewrite how you're going to come into the new year. Because this is what this is all about. Coming into the new year, surviving the holidays, having your kids be healthy and okay, and learning how to do this time and time again. And you don't have to overhaul everything this year, but each year you can start to chip away a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and you can see how these things work. Okay. And it's pretty amazing, right? There's also things that you can do too. If you're finding yourself going towards like, how do I make it healthy this? How do I make it healthy that? There's plenty of books and stuff that are out there, like this Jennifer's Way kitchen cookbook that is bookmarked and dog-eared and all that stuff. There's paleo autoimmune cookbooks. There's so many resources that are out there for health conscious people, because I'm not the only one out there. I'm not. People know that we need to start taking care of our health again. So try not to be stressed out. If you are going to be stressed out and you're going to be stressed out and you have no boundaries and you're just basically a windsock that's just blown in the wind waiting for somebody to yell at you and blow you in that direction, there's a product that you would probably like quite a bit. It's called Cata Cola Calm. Okay, Cata, C-A-T-E, then Cola is C-H-O-L-A, Calm, C-A-L-M. All right, so Cata Cola Calm is designed to be an adrenal adaptogen that calms you down, calms down the stress response. Okay. And I'm allowed to say this as far as I don't get yelled at, but if you go in the store and it's the first time doing an online order, just put in the code FIRST10, first 10, and you'll get 10% off the order to get that to you. And you can stock up on as much as that as you want. Normal for me for a really stressful day for people would be 3 pills twice a day, trying to buffer out that stress as much as you can. But also know your reaction to stress is going to be highly dependent on what you're putting in your body. Okay, so you can't just take these things and expect to drink, 10 beers in a day, eat 15 pounds of pumpkin pie, have, 37 cookies, and then have 47 vodka tonics. And you're like, I don't know why I'm so angry. It's like, the product didn't work. Well, you poisoned yourself, so count on you. But I want everybody to really, truly enjoy these holidays. And I want you to be present in them, especially because the past 2 years, people haven't really been able to get together with family. A lot of people felt victimized by the government, and we weren't allowed to travel. There were travel bans, there were restrictions, and there were so many people that were hating us for not wearing masks or not getting vaccinated. And there's so much pressure that is ridiculous that, again, to my point, if your family was doing that to you, you have every right to say that this is how I want to eat. This is how I want my holidays to be. Otherwise, we're just going to do them with our family, and that's it. And y'all can come and eat on our terms if you want to. Like, you're welcome to do that. And there's no harm in doing that. That's what we're doing for the holidays. Thanksgiving is going to be here. Christmas is going to be here. We're going to be going up to a cabin in northern Arizona here in Munns Park for my birthday. And we have another cabin in Flagstaff in January. And that's just kind of what we do. But if anybody ever wants to come over, we're going to make them feel welcome. If they have any dietary restrictions, we're going to be absolutely welcome to change anything that we need to make sure that we pull it out. I doubt that they're going to be as restrictive as we are, but if there is a case where that does happen, then by all means, we're going to be able to make that happen. Your family should love you for who you are. And if you want to better yourself, your family should support that, whether they understand it or not. So hopefully this information gets you through the holidays, allows you to survive the holidays, get some time for you, get some peaceful, quiet time. Don't fall into the old trap of who you are. If you're going back to your old hometown and your buddies and your girls are all getting together for a bender and you're just going to do a beer crawl because that's what you've always done, you don't have to stay in that narrative. You can rewrite your story. You can invite them over and be an adult, be a grown-up that makes choices instead of just goes with the wave of life. So I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. And I am grateful. I am thankful. I'm doing this a couple of days before Thanksgiving, but I'm thankful for all of you guys and gals who are listening, who have liked this and subscribed to this podcast. It truly means a lot. This has been something that I have wanted to do for, years. And there's some other things that are calling to me. I feel like I'm being called to write a book. And if I can find some time to do that, I do really want to do that and allow us to really be able to set a new level of health for the modern world and how to do that and how to be willing to be bold and courageous whenever it comes to it, setting those boundaries of old past toxic relationships. But I am so thankful for every single one of you listening and watching here today. And I hope you have an amazing Thanksgiving. And I know you'll be talking, we'll be walking a walk until Christmas together, but I hope everyone has an amazing Thanksgiving, and I'll catch you next time.